This open letter is for Stephen Nejad, Stephen Nezhad. Regarding my family that you decided to chip in, that's regarding to Vida Farrokh Nejad. That's her maiden name. Vida Naderi-Azad is her married name, who is mother of Khorshid Naderi-Azad, who's apparently studying architecture in Harvard with my share of our family's savings. That is, with my share from her mother's side of the family savings. Here's the thing, Stephen. Khorshid Naderi-Azad gets to take my share, and other children of my sister get to take my share of our family, of her mother's side of the family, of our family, because my father was a very weak-minded man who didn't think with his brain. Mostly he thought with his balls, and his balls told him that female is good, female is great, pussy is good. So what happened all through our life is basically my sister held all my family hostage through my father. My sister held our family hostage through my father. Basically, he was the king of the house. He felt like the king of the house. And my sister used to dangle her pussy in front of him and get whatever the fuck she wanted. A lot like any woman. Usually this woman is the wife of the king, gets all her wishes. But in our case, the wife, my mother, was basically the king's servant, and my sister had taken the place of the queen, and basically she ordered my father where to spend money, how to spend money, how much to spend on her siblings. And usually her idea was that her siblings aren't worth much. So that's me and my brother. My brother is like has 2 years age difference with my sister. He's 2 years younger. I am 13 years younger than my sister. So she basically dictated to my father where to spend money, how much to spend. And to put this in perspective is, imagine somebody like Janet, because my sister is a lot like Janet as far as selfish, self-centered, self-serving, egomaniac is concerned. Being an egomaniac is concerned, she's a lot like Janet, about maybe to a degree worse than Janet, maybe to a degree worse than Janet, because my sister was given the opportunity to be mean, to be selfish, more than Janet was given the opportunity to be mean and selfish. You see, kids, grown-ups are those who used to be kids. You see, and grown-ups' personality comes a lot from what they learn, how they learn, and what they learned when they were kids. So however you treat a kid, however, especially the parents, however they treat the kid, uh, however much value they give to the kid will grow up understanding that that is his values or her values. And when they say a person is spoiled, is because obviously the people who were in charge of this kid has given the kid free reign and have attended to every whim and every need and every want of hers. So then the kid becomes spoiled. And this is exactly what has happened in our family. From a very early age, my father has adored my sister because she had a cunt, and he liked the cunt. And later on, by she becoming an architect, although after she became an architect, after she got married, it's like 6 months within marriage, the husband says, "Get lost. Your work is not good enough," and sat her in the home and to be a homemaker. So, and up to that point, she was, using work as a way of getting out of the house and, being with the Muslim boyfriend and fucking him and, and my father liked to, to brag about her that, oh, she's this and she's that, and especially in a household like ours in Iran, which is very simple-minded people who are trying to keep up with the Joneses. And the Joneses in our family, Joneses for us, the Joneses were the Iranpurs. The Iranpur family, Manucher Iranpur, Iran Iranpur, Suzan Kausi, Sama Kausi, Shahin Iranpur. These were the Joneses for us. Simin Iranpur. They were the Joneses. So we had to try to be like the Joneses. And due to my father's income or his greed, we couldn't all be like the Joneses. We couldn't all, not all his children could, compete with the Joneses because there wasn't enough funds to go around. So what happens is basically my sister would be the representative. My father decided, and my sister, whatever, they decided that she would represent our family and she would be gilded with gold and sent, put up front to be the representative of our family. Now me, my brother and my mother in the back, we were eating dry bread. We were eating shit. That's okay. We need to, we need one representative. We only have enough funds to, gild this cunt and send her as our representative to Joneses. So she would be the point of contact. So the Joneses would think we're all great. We are all doing fine. We are all so lucky and so wealthy and whatever. Have whatever we need. So she put herself in that situation. And my father was okay with it. It's sort of like his point was keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up appearances. And she understood this, and she became she decided, together they decided that she would represent us. So the rest of the family is fucked. The rest of the family would go out in the orchards, our orchard, somewhere way in the middle of country. My father decided he wants to have an orchard. So while the rest of the family would be in the orchard picking fruits along with the other workers, other laborers, to send and sell and make some money for the family, my sister's gilded cunt would be showing off being in my Iranpur, which were my aunt's house. She would be there and laughing and joking and going around with them representing us as this, we are the same. So yeah, this was the situation and is the situation. As you can see, my sister has taken my father from all over the Canada. She could have chosen other cities. She decided to go to the same city that Manuchehri Rampur is there, to, you know, again, Jones, and take my father with her. That was her objective. She wanted to keep our father with her. She wanted to keep our father. That was her main objective, because that's the bank account that she wants to draw from. So all her life, her objective was somehow, you know, push us, me and my brother, out, so she could be alone with the bank account. Now, me and my brother, we never had anything against our father. In fact, we were the nicest to our father, because we were the one sweating off, picking fruit with our father. You see, our father, our mother, me and my brother, we were all working in the family. You see, we were sweating off to save money, to make money, save money for the family. But she had the cunt, and my father decided he likes that cunt. So while we were working, she would get all the benefits. I mean, it can't be more obvious than this. Just one fact. We had a piano. We didn't have a piano in our house. Vida had a piano, my sister. It was bought in her name by my father. How is that possible? First of all, a household doesn't need 3 pianos. Second of all, my father was not in an income bracket to buy 3 pianos. And the only piano that is in the house is got somebody's name on it, as in like her belongings. And the fucking thing wouldn't even fit in her room, so the only thing that she would allow that belonged to her, she would allow to sit on the side of the living room, but didn't miss a single time, a single month, reminding the rest of us that belonged to her, that's her piano. Who gives you the right to have a piano if a father doesn't have enough funds to buy a piano or equivalent to a piano for every one of his children? Why would he buy one piano and put somebody's name on it and say this is her piano? It just doesn't make sense. It never did, because our household didn't make sense. How can a sibling of ours, my sister, act like a stepmother while my mother was still alive? Why would my sister have a veto power over family decisions while my mother was still alive? Both parents are still alive, and my sister has a veto decision, the right to veto any decision. This was the hold that my sister had over my father. Why they were like this, I don't know. I'm assuming it's because of her cunt. My brown people are horny people. Brown men are horny. Not as horny as black men, but they're horny. So they don't act logically. So since they don't act logically, any little cunt, any little pussy, any slut can basically wrap a brown man around her finger, because she's got the pussy and the brown man is dying to get to that pussy, so she can basically rule men in brown countries. In black countries is even worse. Fuck, there was this in the news some time ago that couple of African countries, women wanted something, and basically all the women started holding back sex from their husbands until they got it. And that did the trick, because it's just apparently the degree of horniness determines how strong is the hold of women over men. If the men are really horny, from the race that are really horny, the women hold more power over them. If the men are from the race that are not that horny, the women don't have that much power over them, and society becomes much better. Look at it this way: Japanese are not known for their testosterone, high testosterone level. They're not known for their horniness, and they have a productive, nice, productive society, peaceful, nice, productive society. They're honorable. World War II was fought over honor and over order. I'm sure the Japanese could have created a more orderly world, better world than we are living in right now. But the point is, you see the African countries, they're known for their horniness. Men are ruled by their balls, and the women rule their balls. So the women rule the African countries, African tribes, African nations, and see where the fuck they are. Because women are like this. Not good in the brain, not good cognitively. They're like this. They're greedy. So, and this was the result. My father was horny, like my sister's cunt. She used to have a veto power and has veto power in our household, and my father does whatever the fuck she tells her to do. It's like a man having a second wife or a third wife with a nice tight pussy, and the wife determines what the man does with his income, with his money, with his savings, with his wealth, whatever, because of a pussy. Now, if this man didn't care for pussy, was not as horny, then the woman couldn't hold that power over him. But unfortunately, my father, like most brown men, is ruled by his balls. Was ruled by his balls, is ruled by his balls, and he liked pussy, and my sister had the pussy. And it's not like you have to fuck the pussy. No, it's just being around pussy. I mean, you see black guys. You're sitting down waiting for a bus. You're thinking business. The other guy's thinking money. The other guy's thinking some mathematic formula of some math problem that he come across. The other one is thinking about some social issue that he had witnessed that day. But you see the black guy, he's just starts a conversation with the woman next to him or farther down. If the woman is farther away, the black guy gets up and approaches the woman and starts a conversation. It's just the degree of horniness means that this guy has nothing to do except nothing else is important. The pussy is important. Let's get to the pussy. And this was the situation. Our family, being a brown family, it wasn't as bad as this. Now, I said this because the point is this. The black man doesn't have to fuck that pussy. It's just that he wants to be near that pussy, be around that pussy, have that pussy smile at him. Anything to do with the pussy, the black man is for. So is the brown man. The brown man is not that far behind. My father was brown. I am brown. I tried not to go that route because I understand what's the stupidity of that route. But my father didn't. So he wants to be around. He doesn't want to be around me. I got a dick. he wants to be around the pussy. He wants this pussy to smile at him. He wants the pussy to ask him how he's doing. You know, the same way that the black man wants to be in the bus, when sitting in a bus stop, tries to strike up a conversation with the first pussy that he sees, or the nearest pussy that he can find. Just like him, my father would prefer to, you know, have a relationship, any kind of relationship with my sister than me or my brother. It's because pussy, being near the pussy and talking to the pussy and conversing with the pussy and having the pussy smile at him once in a while, that's enough. That's more than enough for black people, and that's very very interesting for brown people. Brown people are also needed very much. Need this, you know, being around pussy. And you're stuck. I mean, some of our family said, hey, you and your brother should have, you know, found a way to deal with your father. How can you find a way to deal with this fucking guy? Besides growing a pussy, you know, cutting the dick off and having a pussy transplant, and okay, Dad, I got a pussy now. Would you like to, you know, could you listen to me for 5 minutes as well? Because now I got a pussy. You see what I'm saying? It's that bad. It's that overtly sexualized relationship within even within families, because we are brown. Worse than us, the black people. Every part of their relationship, their interactions, their life is pussy based, because they're horny. High testosterone levels and low IQs. Okay, the pussy says I do this so I can get close to the pussy. End of story. I can be near the pussy. The pussy can smile at me. Anything for the pussy. Unfortunately, these people, being as they are, they don't translate. Not for example, Freud is not translated a lot in Iran, is not promoted a lot in Iran. All of these is explained to some degree by Freud and his other psychologists, but unfortunately they're not promoted. They have written in German, they have translated, everything has been translated to English, but what percentage of Iranians do you think speak English? And what percentage of them want to read anything to do with their own psychology? They just behave. They're just reactionaries. So this is the result. All our life we've been begging for some funds to move forward, me and my brother, and my father was, his objective was trying to, get away with as little as he can, get away with as little expenditure as he can regarding me and my brother, as little expenditure as he can. And my sister, always the best. And as you can see, I mean, he after putting me through shit, he's still, sort of like all his life is like, leave me alone, go away, my brother, go away, leave me alone, I don't have money, I don't have anything, go away, go fuck yourself. Me as well. That India project was a way for him to just get me out of his hair. He didn't want me around him. It's sort of like, okay, if this satisfies you, if you can leave, leave. If I pay this money so you would fucking leave. Leave me alone, I want to be alone with your sister. Simple. because before that I begged of him. I took all responsibility. I begged of him to give me a little money so I can come westward, come towards the west. There's nothing in the east. There is shit. There is more brown people in the east eating each other. There is nothing in the east and nothing in the south. You want intelligence, you want intellectuals, you want order, you want proper management. You go to the west or the north. The north on planet Earth and the west on planet Earth is managed well, orderly, bunch of intelligent white people sitting at the table. The more east you go and the more south you go on planet Earth, the less intelligent, the less orderly, the worse managed. They're shedding on each other, they're eating each other, cannibalizing each other, shedding on each other because they're brown or black. The IQ is not there and they're ruled by their hormones, by their testosterone. So the whole point of my father was like, no. I begged of him that before going to India, I begged of him, please give me a little money. I just get to the west, Canada, US, Europe somewhere, and I wouldn't need a single penny from you. And that's exactly what I did. 15 years ago, I reached the United States. I even owed $3,000 to one of my friends and $10,000 to my brother that helped me get here. Eventually, because my father said, fuck you, I'm not gonna give you any money to go west. You want to go to the shithole? You want to stay in Iran? You want to go to India? You want to go to shithole? Yeah, I'm willing to, chill out a couple of pennies here and there. But west, no. I forbid you. Why would you want to forbid your fucking son to go west? Why would you want to forbid your fucking son to go and live in a better managed area, better managed country, better managed place? He didn't want to allow me to do that because one, my sister didn't want me to, come to the West. Because the way she thought was that if I reached the West, let's say my brother is in Texas, I reach West and I go in California, or I go in Texas, or I go in Canada, my father would be spending more of his time, maybe more of his money, relocating here because now two of his children are on this side, and she would see less of him, she would have less influence over him, she would have less influence over his money, our family's money. So she wanted to keep me in Iran at whatever expense, so there would be two of us in Iran and only one in the United States, so he would spend more of his time in Iran and be more influenced by her. That was her whole objective, and my father, as I said, he took her advice every time and whatever bad came out of it. There was not a single time that my sister had a bright idea, had a good idea. Whatever advice or way he chose, he shed over our family because she's got a low IQ. She's a brown woman with low IQ. Instead of, for example, aiming her life to be happy, to be with her family and to be happy and to enjoy life, she's in a race. She's trying to keep up with the Joneses. She's in a race. She wants to brag. She wants to, and that's just a indication of how low her IQ is. You want to know why I say this? Look at it this way. Bragging and wanting to brag and wanting to, show off as she's been doing all her life, and basically that was her position in our house, to be the show off to the Joneses, to Iranpur's family, that this is our sister, this is she's got a gilded cunt. So that was her position, the show off. And why do I say being a show off shows how low is your IQ? Is because you see the black people, the guy doesn't have 2 pennies to his name, but he's got a gold chain. It's sort of like if he has to borrow the money to go buy the gold chain and put it around his neck and drop it over his shirt, he will do that to show off. And that just shows that showing off is an indication of low IQ. And my sisters, deciding to go and live in Vancouver in such an expensive house, which came from our family's savings, and send her daughter off to such an expensive school that is not within her tax bracket, nor is it within my father's tax bracket, is because she wants to show off. That's her objective in life. That's what they've told her to do. That's her point. I have to show off. I have to, have something to say, that where my daughter is and where do we live, and doesn't matter what hell she has to put our family through. Doesn't matter what hell she has to put my father through. Doesn't matter what shit she has to bring on us. It's unimportant. The important thing is that she can say my daughter is going to this university or that university. That's it. It's sort of like that's a show off. That's a show off. That's the equivalent of the black man putting his gold chain over his shirt, trying to prove that he's worth it. My sister, all her life, we've been trying to, she believes that she has to prove, it all goes back to low self-esteem. She has to prove that she's worth it. Doesn't matter if she has to put herself through hell, she has to put her family through hell, she has to destroy her family reputation, she has to destroy everything and anything, doesn't matter. She has to prove she's worth it. Low IQ, brown, low IQ results into low self-esteem, results into you have to, even if you have to steal, you steal to show off, to state to the society in general and to the Joneses in particular that you're worth it, that you're worth something. And that's our problem. That's our problem. We never got to enjoy life because there was always division, because my father, due to his brown and low IQ, and my sister, brown and low IQ, these two have decided that it's their objective in life is to, because of their low self-esteem, is that they have to prove that they have money, they show off, keep up with the Joneses. You see what I'm saying? And the more you try to talk sense into them, my father was a prime example of this. He couldn't argue with you. He would listen to you, agree with you, then get up and go do whatever he was doing before. It's sort of like he would, they said this joke about George W. Bush, that he thinks the same thing he thought on Monday, he thinks on Wednesday. It doesn't matter what he saw or heard on Tuesday. low IQ, a sign of low IQ. Facts don't change their mind. They can't argue because they don't have the cognitive skills or the verbal skills, or they're not articulate. They can't argue, and the facts are not on their side. So they don't argue. They just listen to you, agree with you, then get up and do whatever the fuck they were doing on Monday. It's like you haven't spoken with them or have a conversation with them. Period. These low IQ people, the lower the IQ, the more they live for others. Not in sacrifice for others, but in competition with others. The more they want to impress the Joneses. They don't live life for themselves. My sister, that crappy little Muslim shithead she decided to fuck, they are, that's the thing, they don't live life for themselves. They live life, they evaluate themselves based on how others evaluate them. And the others for them is a few people that they think they're higher in the social ladder or economical ladder or whatever the fuck you want to consider it. And how they see them and how they perceive them is how they perceive themselves. It's sort of like, if that guy, in our case, in the case of our family, Iranpur's family is the family that my father has been trying to impress his life, and my sister used this shortcoming of my father against us, basically stating that, okay, if you want to impress your sister, Iranpur's family, okay, father, gild my cunt, and I go show off my cunt to them, and you can impress them in this way by gilding my cunt. And he fell for it, and he still does. He fell for it, and he still does fall for it. And we can't talk sense into him. We cannot talk fairness with him. In his mind, it's all his money, and it's not our family money. It's all his money. Although we all worked in the family business, so we all had an input in that money. Besides, it's neither logical nor fair nor acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable for anybody, this kind of behavior. But us brown people, we are selfish. They're doing what they're doing out of being selfish, and the rest of the family and the rest of the society is, trying to keep everything quiet and out of their selfishness. Because how we see this our surrounding is not that, okay, who's being treated unfairly, let's help them out or whatever. No, us brown people are like, no, as long as it doesn't affect me, I'm okay with seeing I'm okay with seeing injustice, and let them fuck each other, as long as it doesn't affect my family, my reputation. If it starts affecting my reputation, then I would like to step in and take sides and shut whoever the fuck is ruining my reputation, shut them up, so my reputation will stay intact. It's all Oh, brown people. And eventually I did as I said to my father years ago before I go to India. Eventually I did as I said. I got a little money and through by illegal means I reached the United States 15 years ago. And ever since then I never asked for a penny from my father. 15 years ago. Oh, whatever I was, as I said, like $13,000 in the hole. I owed $13,000 to other people. I borrowed to get here, and I did exactly as I said. Didn't ask for money. Started making my own way here. But what I don't understand is, although I didn't ask for any money, but if it's understood, it's logical that if the family, and beside that, my father never offered any money. Not in a sense that I will explain. If the family sells something that belonged to the family, the money has to be distributed between all the living members of that family. But that was never my father's objective. Although I didn't ask for any money, but if my father would have called and say, hey, we sold this piece of property here, here's your share, maybe a quarter, maybe a fifth, maybe a sixth, something. Never did that. My father would call, hey, Farshad, I'd like to come and see you. Never did that. Just like when I was in your house, those 3 years, do you remember once did my father call? No. Every time there was a conversation, every time I had a phone call there was a phone call between me and my family in Iran, was at the request of your mother. She told me to go pick up the fucking phone and call them. They didn't want to speak to me. My father doesn't recognize me and my brother as his children. He's produced us, but he tries to, by staying away, not contacting, not having anything to do with, he believes he's absolved of his responsibilities as the elder of our family. It's sort of like, if I don't see them, if I don't talk to them, if they're not near me, then I don't have any responsibility. Then it's my money and I decide I want to give it to my daughter's pussy. That's the way the brown man thinks. So yeah, during the past 15 years, I never asked for money. And my father, although he was selling his properties, had gold, had cash, had whatever our family had worked and accumulated all these years, were all in my father's name, or in his bank account, or in his safe deposit box. But when you see, when I left Iran, it was in a situation that he wanted to keep me in Iran. He wanted to keep me in Iran, and my sister wanted me to, because my sister wanted to keep me in Iran until she moves to the West, and then she would take our father with her, just like what she has done now, because the bank account and the properties and everything else is in his name. So if she wants those, she has to take him as the loot. He has to take him as a hostage. She has to take him as become his caretaker if she wants all that money. And my father was okay with it. Hey, it's a pussy that he likes. has always liked. She's trying to take care of him, and he will take care of her as usual. Although this same pussy never used to take care of him when she was living. And over and over and over, we had to deal with this situation, Stephen. The situation with my sister, Vida Farrokh Nejad, that mother to Khorshid Naderi-Azad. We had to deal with the situation that she had basically complete veto power over our family's funds. She was a sibling of us, just like me, just like Farrokh. She was a sibling, but she had total and absolute power over distribution of the family's funds. Now, everybody in this family worked except her. She was the only one who didn't work in our family business, in our household. Let me give you an example. I have an aunt on my mother's side. They were partners with my father. My aunt was partner with my father in the orchards we had. All the members of our family, excluding Vida, and all the members of her family, my aunt's family, excluding her daughter, would go to the orchard and work on Thursdays and Fridays. The only difference is when they went home on Friday night, the food was ready. The house was clean, the food was ready, because her daughter would take care of it. At least the idea was that if she can't come to if she doesn't want to, if she doesn't want to come to the orchard and work, she stays home and work, clean the house, prepare a couple of meals. My sister wouldn't do that either, even. No, I'm not gonna work in the orchard, and I'm not going to work in the house. Fuck all of you. This was my sister in a package. The most spoiled, the least worked, nothing. Absolutely not. It's a worthless piece of shit, this sister of mine. But she had absolute authority over the distribution of funds in this family. She would say it, and my father would purchase. She would not agree, and there was no purchase taking place. There was no fund distributed. And that's why, although my father did have the funds, although my father did have the money, but my sister didn't agree that he should, help my brother out by sending him funds, so he wouldn't have to go beg for his funds for his education. It's just pure and simple. Because my sister didn't agree. Why my sister has such a hold over my father, Vida Farrokh Nejad? Because I don't know. Somebody has raped her. Either Arastu, my father, has raped her, or one of our uncles have raped her. Something has happened to this girl, this woman, this bitch, this cunt, that basically has my father's lips are sealed, can't talk about it, but cannot do anything but accept whatever she wants. Accept whatever she wants. No rules, no regulation, no discipline, no fairness, nothing. Nothing is needed. That's why we are assuming somebody has raped her. Maybe Manuchehri Rampur during those, probably Manuchehri Rampur during those couple of months that my father sent her as a gift to his bachelor pad. Somebody has done her something really bad that first of all, she has become this mean piece of shit all her life. She's as mean as hell. You thought Janet was mean? You think Janet is mean? You haven't seen my sister. She's so mean that you would think that somebody has ripped her cunt out. You haven't seen a more mean person than my sister. I mean, the kind of mean that, you know, she would cut a dog's throat. That kind of mean. So, this is what I had to deal with. Of her meanness and of her total authority over all aspects of our family, just being a sibling, but having that being given that seat at the table, that she would decide what happens to the rest of the family, that you would say the meanness probably comes from she's been wronged really bad. Somebody raped her many times. That's how she has become so mean towards everybody around her. So hateful. She can't even see somebody else enjoying life or having a little more than her. That kind of meanness, that kind of hate. And then my father being absolutely a lamb when dealing with her. When dealing with us, my father was like, no, fuck you, no, I don't have money, no, fuck you, no, I was, no. But when dealing with her, he was always, you know, holding his nuts and bowing. It's like, what the fuck? What does she have over you that you think bowing is the right idea? What does she have over you? What is she holding over you? And that's where the theory of rape comes from. Because that's it. There should be no reason for a father to look at his children so differently. To give a seat at the table to one of his children and give her veto power over all the decisions of this family. Although her input in the family is zero until like 7-8 years ago. She decided that my father is old enough that might die any day, so let's grab hold of him and squeeze him so nothing would be left after he dies. Everything would be in her name or her family's name. Up to like 7-8 years ago, she didn't want to have anything to do with my father. Nothing. She was living in our house till age 32, never cooked a single meal for our family. Not for my father, not for our family, nobody. Not a single meal. After she got married, my mother died. A couple of years later, after she got married, my mother died. For 10 years, I was cooking in the house, I was cleaning, I was cooking for both of us, me and my father. Not once did she come by the house with a pot of food. In Iran, we do that because we didn't used to have fast food. So families cooked in house every meal. If you ate out, that would be an exception to the rule. But she will never bother. Just a pot of food. It's like my mother is dead. It's me and my father in the house. Just come by, say hi with a pot of food. No, ever, never. Unheard of. Who, me? She will look at you as if like you're crazy. I do this, why? This is the kind of shit that my sister was and is. And her reaction towards any criticism is just like when she was like 12. She would go to her room, lock her door, and pump up her music. Nobody's objections is accepted. This is what she's doing exactly right now. She's over there, not answering the phone, closing up her Facebook page, not talking to any of the family. Like, no, I want to do this, and fuck all of you, and my daddy loves me. This is my sister at 58. Can you imagine how she was at 48? Can you imagine how she was at 38? Can you imagine how she was at 28 or 18? Basically turns her back because all she needs is our father, because she has persuaded our father to, accumulate his money, spend it on her, and accumulate the rest so she can use it later. So all she needs is that bank account. She doesn't need people. She doesn't need family. She doesn't need brothers. She doesn't even need the father. If the father had already given her the money, she would have kicked him out years ago. It's just that, he's kept the money. Now she has to, look after him until he's squeezed out. And in fact, because we already knew this, my brother was telling me the other day that God help us, once our dad is all squeezed out, our sister is probably going to kick him out of the house, and he's going to be end up in my house or your house with no money. This is what we think of our sister, because we know her personality. Piece of shit. A selfish, self-centered piece of shit that God knows for what reason she was given veto power in our house. Absolute power in our house. God knows for what reason. Rape, incest, who knows? What was she holding over my father's head and my mother's head that she was given all this power? Who knows? And that's one side of the fact, and the other side of the fact is, because she was this spoiled piece of shit, whatever she did in her life, she took forever. She chose the hardest way, the most unlikely way, the way that's it's most disagreeable for the family, for our tribe, for our community, for the most disagreeable way. So what would be the result? Let's say one of the siblings in the household chooses to, every time choose a fucked up way, the most disagreeable way for the family, and choose that way and start walking down that path. What happens? It ends up in fighting all the time, screaming matches, fighting matches, cursing matches, kicking doors and walls matches. What will happen to the rest of the family? The rest of the family is just all sitting, just watching, and not being able to, live a normal life. Because this one person, out of being selfishness, this one person has decided to, live life the way she wanted to live, but then she, for some reason, she still has the full support of her father. She wants to live the way she wants to do everything the way she wants to do it. Yeah, a lot of times people decide to do that, but then the guardians of the family, those people who are feeding this woman, this person, this child, say, okay, you want to do that thing that way, we don't agree with you, we don't have to support you. We don't agree with you, that goes against everything we stand for, and we predict that a lot of bad is going to come from that, so you're on your own. Go fuck yourself. Have a nice day. Don't screw the rest of our lives. But that wasn't the case with my sister, Vida Farrokh Nejad. This bitch would do things, she would want to do everything the way she wanted to do it. And then the rest of the family, my father, my mother, they were always had to, argue with her instead of kicking her out, instead of saying, fuck you, you're not going to make everybody else's life miserable. Instead of doing that, they would just, endure and argue and endure and argue and endure and argue and fight and curse and until she would get her way. Then the next step and the next thing in life and then the next thing in life, and everything that she did in life, she chose to do the most fucked up way. Go the most the most difficult, the most unacceptable way for the family. What would be the result of that, Stephen? The result of that is simple. The family doesn't have time for anybody else, especially the parents, who are so involved because this bitch is going all kinds of crazy routes in life. The family would basically say, oh no, you need, for example, they would tell one of other siblings that, oh, you need food. No, you can go hungry. This bitch is about to go fuck a Muslim boy tonight. That can wait. You see where I'm going with this? That can wait, because my problem or my brother's problem, Farrokh's problem, because we were normal kids, we would take the normal route, so we wouldn't have much problems. So we could wait. My sister, this piece of shit, would always choose the unlikely routes. So always our family would be in this emergency, that running after her, trying to, have her pussy ripped apart and left by the side of the road. Not have her pussy ripped apart and left by the side of the road. So instead of the parents saying, no, we only have so much time, so much energy, so much funds, this bitch cannot take everything, we need something for the rest of her siblings. Instead of saying that, they say, no, she's a girl, she's got a cunt. You two, me and my brother, you two shut up. You're normal. So you don't get funds, you don't get extra attention, you don't get extra money, you don't get what we need to provide to you, because we gotta catch her, we gotta be careful. She's a piece of shit. She's running wild. Do you see what I'm saying? So my sister basically keeps the whole family, all her life, keeps the whole family busy. The rest of us, the parents, after going through shit, after she putting my parents through shit all her life, they me and my brother were basically normal. We didn't choose to, go certain routes. When we did, as Farrokh did, they left us alone. It wasn't like Vida, that she would choose the fucked up routes in life, and then still my father, my mother would run after her, try to, protect her. For us, it was like, oh, you choose that fucked up route? Good luck. Good luck. I asked you to help me to choose a better route. You didn't help me. You were paying attention to this piece of shit, our sister, who has chosen the fucked up route. and you didn't even help me go to in the normal route. Now that I chose a fucked up route, now you're telling me to go fuck myself. So in any case, I gotta go fuck myself. Farrokh has got to go fuck himself. The whole objective of our family is to, run around, ask our sister is what she wants, how she wants it, and how we can be of any help to her. This is the way this spoiled piece of shit was brought up. Imagine how confused a family, a parents, a father, a mother that has raised such a piece of shit. Imagine how confused they are. How confused they could be mentally that they think this is a normal way to go, normal way to live. That just do everything for her because she's got a pussy. She happens to have a female genitalia. And those who have a male genitalia, tell them to go fuck themselves. We don't have time for them. We don't have money for them. We don't have time for them. They can go fuck themselves. Why? And with this much time taken out of our life, this much time taken out of the family's life, what will happen is the rest of the family is sort of like, then my brother, the way he got married is like one small little get together with 10 people, and that's marriage ceremony. And then me, don't bother. My father didn't even expect me to get married. It's sort of like, fuck you. Go do whatever the fuck you want. Not now. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they just didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't even want to know. It's sort of like, no. I had enough. Again, when one of the siblings takes so much energy and effort and stress out of the family, there is not much left. There is not much left for others. People only have a certain amount of energy, certain level of energy. When one siblings, people have certain level of energy, certain level of funds. When one takes so much, there is not much left. This goes for money, this goes for energy, this goes for stress, this goes for everything. Love, caring, this goes for everything. When one of the siblings takes so much, and for whatever reason the parents agree to give so much to that one sibling, the rest gotta go whack off. Gotta go stand in the corner and jerk off by themselves. Because the parents are beat. Because those who are in charge of this group have given so much of themselves to this one person that there is not much left. So the rest of you can go fuck yourselves. And this has been the situation in our family. And I thought we were over this. 10 years ago I left and I said, okay, I had enough of this shit. Our father can never be changed. He's always with open mouth, ready to lick my sister's pussy. So I'm leaving. Have a nice day. Just like I did it when I was, unfortunately I waited too long. I did it when I was like 30. My brother did it when he was 20. And that's exactly, both of us went through the same thing. literally coming out of the house with zero, with no money, just running out of that hellhole. Because my father was so manipulated by my sister that these guys are bad people. I'm good, they're bad. Pay attention here. So both of us left more or less under same circumstances, just ran away out of this madness that was taking place in our household, and hoping that, okay, maybe one day they understand, my father understands, or okay, I had enough of this, I can't put up with this. When he dies, maybe something is left of the family's wealth, which obviously my sister was waiting for this to everybody get out so she can, manipulate my father more and extract everything before he dies. And you're bewildered that why is there a need for this? Why is there a need for so much meanness by my sister? Why is there a need for so much stupidity by my father? Why did he feel that he owes this much to my sister and none at all to me and my brother? Nobody can figure it out. Why my father thinks my sister's children are worth more than his own sons? Why my father has been manipulated to think? Why does he himself let himself be manipulated to this degree? Why my sister thinks it's okay to manipulate him in order to get more? Why would my father think that the wealth, whatever our family's savings is, should be divided like between me, my brother, my sister, and all her kids, being different members of his own family? My father doesn't consider my brother's sons as his own, but he considers my sister's children as his own. How does that work? He's giving the same value to me as he's giving to my sister's child. How does that work? How can you circle that square? How can you square that circle? It can't. You can't. Unless he's mad. He's been manipulated, as he's been all his life. No father should give the right of decision making for distribution of funds in a family to one of the siblings. This is what happens. Can you imagine, Stephen? Can you imagine that Janet be given the right to, would have been given the right to decide on distribution of funds in your family? In that case, Michael would have been dead years ago, dead in his own filth, dead of malnourishment. You would have been a plumber somewhere, and your sister would have been, Juliet would have been in South America somewhere, tending orphan kids. This would have been the situation if Janet, your sibling, who has many of the Vida's characteristics, selfish, self-centered, blah blah blah. She's not as mean as my sister, but I guess she hasn't been raped. Just imagine that, Janet being given to decide the distribution of funds in your family. You cannot. The parents, the guardians, the people who are in charge of a group cannot, have a fiduciary duty. They have a fiduciary duty to make sure there is justice, there is not discrimination, there is the proper distribution of funds. But when you give one of the people who don't have a fiduciary duty, your sister doesn't have a fiduciary duty over you. Your father does, your sister doesn't. Legally as well as traditionally, siblings don't have fiduciary duty over each other. If they take fiduciary duty over each other, that's out of their goodness of their heart, and that's it. So they give a seat at the table with a veto power over the funds of our family to one of the siblings who doesn't feel responsible for the rest of the siblings, who doesn't legally and traditionally doesn't have a fiduciary duty, is not expected to have a fiduciary duty over her siblings. The result is this. She takes 5 for herself and 1 for me and 1 more for my brother. Again, 5 for herself, 1 for him and 1 for the other, if that. And the Muslim guy, her husband, that guy who fucked her, is basically just an opportunistic parasite. He's trying to spread his seed, like all Muslim guys, just trying to spread their seed over wherever is profitable, wherever that seed can grow better. Now, if he can find a woman, piece of shit, that spoiled piece of shit that has veto power in her family's distribution of funds, so he's gonna spread his seed over her. That's if he didn't put his seed in her, some other Muslim shit would do, because with Muslims it's about reproduction, spreading your seed where it can grow better, and the more seed you can spread, the better it is. His father, my brother's-in-law, my sister's husband, father, in order to spread his seed more, he had 2 wives at the same time. He was fucking them in the same household. 2 wives in the same house, fucking them in the same house, just so he can, have more offsprings. He can spread his seed more. This guy, my brother-in-law, the one who's fucking my sister, he decided to go instead of quantity, go for quality, find a better, a more fertile ground to spread his seed. That's it. That's the whole idea. What better fertile ground that a woman, a girl, a piece of shit, although spoiled, what better situation than this, that she has veto power over the distribution of her family's funds, so let me go fuck her. And the next step would be easy. Just tell the father to give the money to us, because she has the power over her father. And this cannot be left untold. All our life, this unfair distribution of fund has been taking place, but we could have never object. If we had any objections, like Farrokh, we had to leave with our dick in our hand. It's sort of like, oh, you object, you don't even want to eat the food here, okay, you can leave. Just like Farrokh did at age 18. He objected to the fucking situation, He was objecting ever since he was like 8, 7. You can see when you're 7, you're 8, you see the unfair distribution of funds. So you object. And he objected. Nobody listened. They told him to go fuck himself. So he left at 18. Okay, I go fuck myself. It's better than sitting here and watching my sister eat all the cake and take the rest of the cake to her room. I don't even get to have the crumbs. And that's the situation. I talk, now it has to come out. Forget about, and all our life we were being told that don't talk about it, our family's reputation is at stake. Well, if your family's reputation is at the stake, motherfuckers try and being fair. When you're fair, there won't be any problem. If you're worried about your family's reputation, if you're worried about our family's reputation or good name, then start acting like a fair person. So all our life, me and my brother have been shut up because we had to, be quiet so our family's reputation would not be tarnished. Well, fuck the family reputation at this point. I'm going to shit on this family's reputation. I'm gonna shit on this extended family's reputation. I'm gonna shit on my sister's children's reputation. Because if you don't want your reputation to be tarnished, you better not do things that would tarnish your reputation. And add to that the fact that my sister's reproduction process took like 12 years out of our family's life. You see, maybe you're one of the people who tell yourself that this distribution seems to be fair because she's got 3 kids and she has more needs. Yeah, but you see, if she has not taken so much, maybe, I'm not saying it's for certain, but maybe if she had not taken so much of our family's life, energy, money, stress, and she got married sooner to some person with some less problematic person who's nobody, from no background, zero, zilch, and no savings. The family just spent money and didn't keep any. So they had a good life because they spent whatever they made, and then when it's time for spreading his seed, he looks for a girl that, whose family has saved and, not spent. So our family is the one that has saved and not spent. And he, from a family who always spent and no savings, he jumps into our family. And for this jump to happen, my sister basically, let me put it this way, why my sister chose this guy. His name could be X, Y, or Z, doesn't matter. This person was the one who licked her pussy the bestest. You see what I'm saying? How does a connection take place between a man and a woman? In reality, in today's practice, women chooses her husband. Because if the woman doesn't want to do it, it would be rape. So if she does want it with the one she does want to do with it, that would be the chosen one for short term or long term, until the woman has had enough. Because the pussy is the attractive part in this relationship. There are not that many pussies on offer within the age range. So the reality is, he has licked her pussy the way she wanted it, when she wanted it, with the most utmost, energy and vigor. So the result is he has been chosen. Why he has been chosen? He's a Muslim from zero background who's willing to audaciously jump in and try to grab stuff. This is who my sister has chosen, because she herself is a grabby person. Her pussy is like a vacuum. It just sucks in money, stuff. As I told you, she would come to our house after she got married. She comes to our house and she still, whatever she sees that would fit in her purse, she would put in her purse and take it to her house. And a couple of times I mentioned it, and once I confronted, and I was a bad guy who brought it up. Oh no, you shouldn't have brought it up. We all know your sister is a fucking thief. Let's not talk about it. Well, I said, okay, let me leave, and once the result comes out, everybody will see how thievish my sister was. Because this is not explainable. You can't explain this shit. You can't explain this shit. That our family had to put up with because of this sister, Vida Farrokh Nejad, mother of Khorshid Naderi-Azad. This is what we had to put up with, this shit. That she's like a vacuum. Her pussy is a vacuum. Then she goes and finds the lowest class Muslim she can find. A Muslim from a Mongolian background. People of Mongolia, they came after they went up to Europe. They came back. Many of them came back, but they really never left. They have left their race and their religion up to the Balkans in Europe. Up to the Balkans, who made those people Muslims? First they were taken over by the Mongols. Then Mongols settled down wherever they, started living. The Mongols later on became Muslims. The whole empire became Muslims. So these Muslims in the Balkans are the leftover Mongols with the Muslim religion from the Mongolian invasion of Asia and Europe. So she has found one of those. This is my Mongolian Muslim boyfriend and potential husband. Deal with it, family. Fuck you. Deal with it. My conservative parents, they're like, no, we don't want to deal with this shit. You can't choose somebody from that the rest of our tribe has trouble with. You can't do that. And she's like, no, my pussy wants this. My pussy wants this. I was like, oh, what do you mean? When we say spoiled brat, we mean spoiled. Our sister is extremely spoiled. That's why she acts like a piece of shit. That's why she steals. Everybody's stuff is her stuff. It's with other people temporarily. As soon as she can get her hands on their stuff, she will take them. If she can't get away with it, she will take it. Yes, this is my sister. This is her personality at 7, 8 years old. Your personality is your personality. You can't change it much. So the result is that she has disrespectful of other people's rights to exist, disrespectful of other people's right to, be talked about. It's nice to be talked about in a family where the sister has got so much shit going on at all times. Pussy wants a Muslim boyfriend, she wants a new dress for this get together, she doesn't talk to that part of the family, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. She's got so much demand. She demands so much of the family that the rest of us basically are like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, it's like, hello, Farrokh. My brother, I mean, he really had many times he had the option of coming back to Iran after the war. Just like I was thrown back, he was like 28, 29 when I was thrown back by you guys. And he had options to come back. Even during the war, his age was too high, probably wouldn't be sent to the front. He would fake a knee injury and a couple of times, and then they would send him to the back somewhere because of his age. But he still chose not to, because there was nothing for him in our household. She will fight for everything. She doesn't share. She doesn't understand sharing. She never did. Share? What do you mean share? What am I? Your sister? Well, yeah, but no. Like the concept escaped her mind. I mean, one of the preliminary things that in kindergarten they test. They say how sharing and caring. They sort of give a more or less higher or lower grade to a little 5-year-old, saying that does she share with her friends, and tick no or yes or 50% 40% needs more work done. اینا یه حالتاییه که مدرسه داره میگه به خانواده آی خارکوسا. These are the points that the school tells the parents, motherfuckers, promote sharing and caring, sharing, promote with this girl. And no, never. She just doesn't give a fuck. Who's responsible? She's not, more or less. I mean, she could have, come out of it, become more intelligent and wiser on her own. No, didn't bother. But in reality, the main job was with my father that had to, raise a responsible human being. She's not. She chooses the hard. As far as I remember, it's like Farrokh was not there. I was not there. You just shut up. Go away. Shut up. Vida جون چیه مشکل چیه حالا؟ حالا نمیشه اینجوری کنی. نه ویدا جون حالا خواهش میکنیم نکن این کار. نه ویدا جون نه قدقنی نه آقا نکن. واسش مهم نبود. It wasn't important for her. Don't do it. Please don't do it. No, always this argument. Her whole life she's arguing with our family because she wants to do everything her way. Why? Because she was raised like this. If the kid wants it his way every time, it's where you draw the line. It's where you draw the line. You see, she wants to come. Let's say she wants to. Do you give her your bank account, or do you give her would you give her your debit card? Would you give her your checkbook? Or would you give her the keys to your apartment? Would you give her you see, these are all steps that are drawn. Would you give her your name? that would be sort of the last step. Do you trust the other person this much? Do you give her your name? So if you come back on this, you reach a point is like, where is the line between a sibling being exceptional to the rule? In which cases? It seems in every case, my sister wanted to be exceptional to the rule. Exceptional to the rule. In this I'm exceptional, in this I'm exceptional, in this I'm exceptional, in this I'm exceptional. And all this process, everybody disagreed, so they had to fight for it. They had to fight, argument, fight. A lot of cursing, a lot of shouting, and a lot of doors being slammed. Like a fucking pigsty. And you're there, sort of like watching this shit going on and wondering to yourself, what the fuck are these people smoking? They're all on crack? This is a fucking household. We are supposed to, have a normal life in this fucking household. But apparently, my sister didn't agree. No, normal life? What do you mean normal life? You're talking about me, the vacuum pussy. You don't need a normal life. It's about me. It's about me. We're talking about me. We are talking about me. You shut up. We are talking about me. I want to do this way now. I want to do that way now. And we have an issue. Father, you don't agree? Okay, we're going to talk about that. Mother, you don't agree? Fuck you. I want to do it this my way. What happens? She becomes this hot potato that in reality, if there are 4 people standing and this hot potato has issues and won't cool down, you drop the hot potato. Oh, let it cool down. Then we pick it up, wash it. Let it cool down, but we pick it up, wash it. And nobody said throw your kid out for forever, but you see your daughter is like this, throw her out for 5 months. Then go pick her up from a corner of fucking street after she's been raped 12 times by 12 different Muslim boys. And then see what happens. If the Muslim boy has to take care of this girl in his house, feeding her, his mother feeding her without them being married in Tehran, in Iran, he would have broken up with her in like 2 seconds. No. 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. End. Finished. We are not married. I thought you come with money. If you don't come with money, what the fuck do I need your fucking stupid, selfish, self-centered ass for? You see where I'm going with this, Stephen? So the only conditionality of this Muslim boy was that if she comes with money, okay, maybe I train her. I retrain her to join the human race to some degree, as far as, we are living in the house, as long as, at least when we are together, she would not cross certain boundaries. But then, in regards to our family, he was like, fine, continue. Let me check him a couple of times too. Yeah, a couple of times this motherfucker started, just out of nowhere started pushing, but nobody was around, everybody has gone away, started pushing me around over stupid shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he started wrestling. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So I knew this. Many hours I sat down and I talked to my father and I said, let's, prepare a will, something. I'm doing the work here. I'm taking care of you for the past 7-8 years. At that time, for 2-3 years, I was telling him that, hey, what are you going to do? This Muslim guy can and will go for the money. Do you want to move forward and, giving us, me and my brother, some things while before we get screwed by the Muslim boy. And he's like, no, I know what to do. I'm like, you know what to do? I don't know what to tell this motherfucker. This is my father. You know what to do? You know what to do. You are the same guy that your kid had the chance in United States, at least, keep him there, pay for his existence, at least until he reaches 18 and he can make a decision for himself as an adult. You decide not to give that little much, $7,000 a year, $7,000 a year. He bought his daughter like 5 years before I needing $7,000 a year. 5 years ago, he bought his daughter a car that was worth brand new, equivalent to $20,000. So in one go, you give a $20,000 gift, and then the other kid needs $7,000 a year. You're cramming 3 years of what I needed in one gift. What the fuck is this? Instead of giving some money that side, he just basically, I love you, pussy, my little daughter. That's what I'm saying. He had developed a romantic attachment to his own daughter. And sort of like, and we had to just get out of the way as soon as possible. And he doesn't care how. He doesn't care how. Just get out of the way. Okay, he has a relationship in his head with her, and she's taking full advantage of this fact. So she never provides any services to the family. She never provides any services to the family, but she takes the most out of the family in terms of money, in terms of attention, in terms of energy, in terms of just pure stress for the family, because she wanted everything her way. You can train this out of people. You kick them out for 5 months. She was in our house till she was 31, so my father could have kicked her out for 5 months at 24, at 22, at 26, at 28. Sort of like, no, get the fuck out. We are not gonna let you marry a fucking Muslim. Get the fuck out. Boom, go sleep with the Muslim in his house as well, right now. A kicking her ass. She's 5 months on her own, living with the guy. And then the guy is saying, you know what, bitch, with your attitude, I thought you come with money. This is what my father should have done. And he would kick her out, and she would come back to our father's house with her tail between her legs. End of story. She starts behaving like normal human being. But no, this did not happen. This needs chutzpah. Training people, kids, needs chutzpah. You either have chutzpah or you don't have chutzpah. Yeah, you gotta look long distance. If she's going sideways, you either give a good kick in the ass so she would fall back in line, or you sit there and jerk off to her pussy because you're so infatuated with her pussy that you basically jerk off behind her and while she's going in the jungle, because you're so distracted by her pussy, because you have developed a romantic relationship with your own daughter from age like 14, 15. Whether he has screwed her or not, I don't know. We never witnessed anything. But so what? You can be in love with your daughter, but fuck your wife and just close your eyes and think of your daughter. I mean, because this is how he behaved. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? Hello. Just like he didn't send money for a 14-year-old guy's existence. He didn't give a fuck about his existence over there. You think you cannot give a fuck about his existence over there, but give a fuck about his existence over here? No. So continued up to age 31, 32, my sister's existence in our house basically made a very uncomfortable, uncivilized environment to reside in, to live in, to exist in. Until now, and now again. That's why she married. One of the reasons she married the Muslim with the horse face and a short stature. This is her husband. Short stature, bald head, horse-like front teeth system. This is my brother-in-law. This was my brother-in-law when she married her. So it wasn't his beauty. It wasn't his, good genes. It was a guy who was basically hungry. Hey, you want to go up somebody's wall? Yeah, I'm ready. My father has got this house. My brothers think they exist. Let's go see if we can make sure they don't exist. From this, it's just one step away. Is like picking up a gun and going to the guy's house and saying, "Motherfucker, shut the fuck up. I want all this property." Basically, it's one step away. That's just one step away. Just because my sister, when she was such a bitch, an asshole when she lived in our house, and they still loved her this much, to pay this much attention to her and destroy so much of our family quality time that we could have spent with each other. You see what I'm saying? It's quality time. Whatever time that's not quality that you spend with your family, it's a bad thing. And everything, because she had a problem with everything, and she wanted to do everything her way, because she was a spoiled piece of shit. So basically, any quality time that our family could have had ended up in shouting match and screaming match and door slamming match and fuck. When they loved her this much, when she behaved like this, well, now at the end of his life, my father adores her, because now she actually, put a plate of food in front of her.